I think you've heard, it's been, pretty common knowledge recently that the millennials they want a phone. They want a phone more than a car. They can get somewhere with a car. They're connected with the world with their phone. And so that phone, somebody knows where that thing is. And, we had been thinking, Tim, would maybe said it in some of these where everybody's going to be wearing a wristband or carrying a fob or something like that. You don't need to. The phone's doing that. You've already got that set up. So it's the infrastructure of communicating with your phone and that information that you're trying to get in place.
Well, look at, just security cameras. Almost everything that happens these days in a city.
Yeah,
there's a witness.
Right.
And whether it's now it's a mix of private. London went a few years ago, right? And they did it as a system, but more and more cities are doing that as well. It's like there's a camera everywhere. So it's all knowledge, but what happens to the knowledge and how it's used, and that's
right. So there's great things that are come from that, and there are horrible things that are going to come from that.
That's with everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, getting to Chatham Park for a moment. As a designer, as someone who is an urban planner, really too. I mean, how exciting is this potentially to be not only a part of the team that is planning for the future, but then how exciting can it be to the buyer who's coming into this kind of city?
Well, just because we are able to begin from scratch, which we're doing. I mean, it's a greenfield experience and everything's going in. It's not a lot of places. The cost of retrofitting and going back in and establishing a grid or updating a grid to be able to communicate this way, it's pretty daunting in terms of dollars. Now, it's expensive to do it fresh. But people coming into Chatham Park are going to be able to take advantage of that network that's going to be in place. It's funny, we're talking about we're already being distrusted by the rest of the county because we aren't providing this kind of thing for the county. So you don't have the social equity of sure, it's great for everyone in Chatham Park, and it will be there, but you need to be doing it for setting up a process and paying for that kind of infrastructure for everyone. Well, we just can't do it. But for people moving into Chatham Park, they're great opportunities. And I think we're going to there's going to be a lot more of a health focus in Chatham Park because of that, and with the relationship that we're establishing with UNC Hospital, there are going to be a lot of people moving here. I think because of the health benefits that you're going to get from connectivity and from this whole technological change that's going on.
With regard to that, this announcement's coming up, and we're going to embargo everything regarding that, and until it's actually made. But is there a kind of a symbiotic relationship between what you have planned in the future, and then are they looking at that and going, "Wow, okay, we want to be a part of that because that will allow our look to the future to be there's more connectivity between the two companies, ideas." Location.
Right. I'm speculating a little bit. I think they think, and it's been why it's been difficult to get the relationship in place, but they're bigger than anybody. I mean, as big as we are, they're bigger than us. And so there's a certain arrogance, I think, that goes with that. But so I think over the last few months, they've realized there are some special things going on here that they weren't aware of. And so I think it is true that there is going to be, that they are seeing, okay, there's something that makes sense here, and that's why we're able to do this. But it's not just that relationship, but this kind of goes into some of the recreation things. But our relationship with the YMCA, now, the YMCA for a lot of people in this country, it's where, it's over in inner city, the homeless stay there. It's just not a great place. That's not the way it is in this state. And I think in many of the larger more progressive areas, the Y's become more of a family destination, and it's become more of a place to help underprivileged kids, scholastic unachievers, there's more to it than just going and working out and swimming and things like that. But we have a great relationship with the YMCA here, and we've worked with them on other projects we've done. They're going to be a big part of Chatham Park by turning their facilities into really our facilities, and that relationship enables us to establish a partnership that we're able to efficiently use the same facility in ways they need to and in ways we need to. And so they would also get into some staffing and programming of other spaces that we have that don't traditionally have a Chatham Park staff person, but we're able to use that relationship with the Y to fill that need, and then that serves our residents. So I think when you look at, and they already have relationships with other health providers where they're taking care of some of their wellness needs, as opposed to the hospital or the health provider doing that themselves, because they do medicine great, but they don't necessarily do fitness or wellness aspects of it great. The Y does that. So anyway, we're able through, again, going back to this greenfield experience we've got, creating partnerships and relationships that are going to make all of us better.
And concrete examples of how the Y would fit into Chatham Park. Now again, this is sort of like the hospital. This isn't out there yet, so we'll talk about it. It's not, we can't sneak anything by. So
right.
It'll either be, we can't talk about that.
Right. First of all, we were going in a direction where the homeowners association was going to have state-of-the-art facilities. And we started looking at the cost of that and realizing that people are making choices of what they want to do, and we need to give them choices. So instead of producing or building a big homeowner facility, the Y becomes at least part of that answer. And so the aquatics needs of our residents, they can get that through the YMCA. A gymnasium. We don't have to build a gymnasium. Now, we're still working out the relationship and just the details of that. But we're probably going to build a YMCA and then lease it back to them, and then those facilities are going to be used by Chatham Park residents, can be used by the public. So there's a greater connection to the town and the county through that than it would be if we have our own private facilities. But we're going much more private. We're going much more public with our recreational amenities than we were previously thinking.
And that does tie the community together, doesn't it?
Well, I think it helps, and most of this is building trust, and it's hard to build trust, and you just don't do it by saying, okay, we are trustworthy. That doesn't do it. You have to show them constantly, daily. Yearly. It's a constant thing, just like with your kids. And so that's where we're in the trust building phase.
Talk to me about parks, recreation. What will we be seeing, and how important is that to a community like this?
Yeah, well, we are, and some of this we didn't necessarily want to do, but we are having to. This town has not had an extra dollar ever. They haven't had an extra dollar ever. They were 4,000 people 100 years ago, and there are 4,000 people today. And so they don't see, when we come in as big as we are, their thinking is we need to not only provide public facilities the way others that come into Pittsburgh are required, but we need to do more. And so when you develop in the town, this is true for everyone, you would have to give land in a ratio that is tied to how many residential units you have. So when you do the math with Chatham Park, we'll be providing over 600 acres of public parkland that anyone in Pittsburgh can use. Part of that will be 30 miles of greenway. That will be as good a greenway system as there is in this state. And so that would be a public system that we would be creating. That gets back to some of the connectivity things we were talking about, because when people are walking, which is the number one thing people want to do, they're also on the internet many times. So creating a public access to Wi-Fi is going to be part of some of the things that we're providing within our amenity structure. So that's what we're working out with the town. Now, as part of these negotiations,